Oh, it do. All right, welcome to the Eric Tries Too Hard podcast. This week I have Mike Hayden with me. Hello, Mike.
Hey,
This is the first time we've spoken, I believe.
on podcast. Yes, I like your shirt, by
Yeah.
the way.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. I got it for free from some band that's no longer relevant.
Ah, that's terrible.
I'm just kidding. So Mike is was the singer of a band called Counting to the Number Past Three, and he is currently a screenwriter and film director producer. What titles do you have in right now?
Well, this month I'm producing, directing, casting, scoring, and writing my
And you couldn't
film.
be more bored by it.
Oh my God, I just woke up. I had a 9-hour casting day yesterday, and then we went bowling afterwards to celebrate my new engagement, which just happened.
Oh
So,
yes, and newly engaged, like Brian
mhm,
Hayden. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Do you feel any different? Is a question that other people are going to ask you, and it's so hacky and it's so dumb and annoying. But do you feel any different?
st same power of love pulses through
Yeah,
my veins.
this every time. Like when I got married, people kept asking, like, "Oh, does it feel different now? Does it feel different?" And I was like, "No. Why would it feel different? Like that's like," and they meant it in like a good way.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that still seems to me like a red flag. Where all of us like when things your relationship drastically changes because of that, you're like, well, wait, we should have gone into this because we were already ready to be there. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's really cool, man. And are you in Florida right now? Or are you in Jersey?
I am in Winter Park. It's
Is
right outside of Orlando.
okay. And I because we're friends on the social networks and stuff, and in real
Right.
life, but like I do see a lot of your pictures from the parks.
Right, yes.
I'm very jealous every single day. Goodbye. Mike has left us. All right, so since it'll be boring for me to do it with Mike here, I guess what I'll do is I'll catch you, dear listener, up. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Sorry, I do not know what happened.
Oh my god. Well, you got back really quick. That actually, I got booted out of my own podcast yesterday, and it took me like 10 minutes to get back. And when I got back, my guests were just like talking to each other. I was like, all right,
They
that
were
worked.
drinking heavily.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was 10 in the morning, so that works.
Fair enough.
Um, Yeah. So okay. So tell me. Let's rewind. Because we've known each other for years. Let's rewind though. And oh, I also want to say thank you because you were the first person who helped me prep for this whole podcast about a year ago. Like
Yeah.
you got on Skype with me and you let me interview you for 20 or 30 minutes or whatever it was, and that helped a lot because I felt very awkward and very uncomfortable, and I'd never really interviewed anyone in years and years and years, so that was very helpful. So thank you.
Listen, I don't want to say that I'm the driving force in your life, but let's be honest here. I am the
Oh no.
driving force in your life.
It's true. You drive it right into my life. My life is code for my butt. If you guys
Right,
couldn't
of
tell,
course.
yeah, right, of course. All right. So going back, what did you get into first, as far as just either a love of the art form or even just doing it? Music or film?
I mean,
Which was your dream job first?
I guess it was music. I always kind of sang, and my dad taught me how to sing, and that was always kind of a big bonding point between me and him. But as I grew up, actually, you know what? I'm not sure that's really true because in in preschool when I was 3 or 4, my dad every day after preschool would pick me up and take me to Blockbuster, and we would
Hmm.
rent a Godzilla movie. So
Nice.
I guess now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably what happened first.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of my love for giant lizards destroying cities is what got me to where I am today. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they've both been with me my whole life, pretty much. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's really good. I found that just so interesting. So it was. Would you say it was those early memories of the Godzilla movies where you had this active thought that, oh my god, this art form is amazing, or would you say that was there a later point where you had that? Because I know I've had a love for both art forms at different points, but it wasn't until, like, say with music, it wasn't until like I got a specific album, heard it, and was like, this is different. There's something in this that I can't. When do you think that moment was for you with music and film?
this is kind of weird. My favorite movie's Tremors, and I
Yeah.
used to watch it all the time when I was little. And I don't know. I think that was always just like I love this movie. Movies is what I want to do
Yeah.
because I like watching Kevin Bacon fight underground worms. So that was always cool. But as far as music, trying to think of that moment.
Yeah.
Um,
Was it the first Nickelback album,
it was
or
probably I just read that they released a disco
I
song.
did too? That's why they're in my brain.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet, but um,
It
I
was.
think probably when I was younger in my third grade talent show, I sang "Absolutely Story of a Girl" by 9 Days. I was on stage,
Yeah.
and that was pretty cool.
So it was
But
that moment of, would you say it was the music or just the moment of being on stage where it just felt it felt like something different, something like
that was
right.
probably like the moment of being on stage.
Yeah.
I always liked attention, so
Yeah.
that ruined my head.
Well, that's what's weird because I don't know if you don't mind me saying, you're kind of an insecure guy, kind of a shy guy even, but you still like you always struck me as like the opposite personality for a lead singer, especially a lead singer who emotes so heavily in the music that they've made.
I kind of realize I'm two different people. Even now, like we had to do pitches for my film, and whenever I have to get up in front of people, like it's just really easy to talk and stuff. Like
Yeah.
when I have to like present or do something that I know I can do, but then like when I'm dealing with people not in front of them, like just
Uh-huh.
face to face, I'm like, hi,
So do you
I'm
think it's an issue of preparedness? Like you don't feel strong about just social skills in general, but you are confident in, I guess, whatever it is you're presenting or whatever it is you're prepared to talk about.
I think it's more of a I would rather be sleeping right now.
So
Be
it's so
talking to
so so it's just too much.
No, I don't know. I just I find it difficult to like. I don't have like a ton of like really good friends. I have a close circle of very good friends and then acquaintances. But I always try to be nice to people. I just have a hard time connecting face to face with people. That's why I sing because it's a
Yeah,
lot easier. It's me and a guitar, not me and another person.
yeah. So are you would you say when you're on stage you were just communicating with your, I don't want to say with your band. I don't mean your band members. I mean with your band and with the music. So it was less of communicating with an audience and more of
Yeah,
communicating.
yeah,
Okay,
that's probably the way it was.
hmm,
I'd have to,
that's
it was
interesting. So
like
you're just talking to your guitar.
me and my guitar were talking.
Oh shit! You shouldn't have left the band. That's your hit right there. Okay, so what was the first? And I know you've said that you will never let me hear it. Tell us about the first band that you formed. I assume you started doing music before you started doing any kind of film stuff,
Oh yeah.
right? Okay.
Yes, my first band was called Free Boxes, and it was me and this my friend from like seventh and eighth grade. He had a guitar, and I just went over there and we would just play Green Day songs pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he bought a drum set because I started playing guitar, and then he started playing drums, and we literally just played Green Day songs all day in his
Yeah.
attic. And our eighth grade talent show, we played Holiday, and it was dude, it was rad. I'm telling
Did
you.
you say all the bad words, all the naughty words?
I did, yes. I actually played drums and sang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that was before I learned how to play guitar.
Yeah.
I was just learning. So.
Oh, I didn't know you. I didn't even know you played drums. That's really cool. Did you? So what ended up making you make the switch to? That's so interesting because you started by learning how to sing, and then as a singer who likes to get up and sing in front of people, you thought, why don't I learn the drums?
I don't know. I just always I wanted to bang on stuff.
Okay.
So
So you're at this point you're just anything that feels good, you're doing it. I want to bang
pretty
on
much.
stuff and I
I
want
just
to
I always
sing.
had a
Not gonna
good
let that
sense of
stop me.
rhythm.
Yeah.
So I think I was like drums. But then
Okay.
I wanted to play guitar because it just made more sense. And
Yeah.
now I love guitar. So.
Nice. All right, awesome. So after that amazing talent show that somehow didn't get you signed, what happened with your music career then? And at what age were you at that point?
How old are you in third grade?
That was third grade. Oh my
I
god!
was third
But your
grade.
friend was in seventh and eighth grade.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my third grade talent
Oh
show.
no
That
no no!
I was playing.
I guess I meant
Okay. I guess I was 13.
yeah. So
Oh,
then How long did that band
But
last for?
I was like a couple days. No, I was still friends with him for like another year, but once I got to high school and started doing other things, it was kind of tough. So, and it wasn't like a real band.
Yeah.
So,
Were you in a band in high school?
I was. It was like another school band type of a thing. Like kids from school, we'd play all the talent shows and stuff. We were rad. Um, we were called Taking Advantage of Mike, and
Are you serious?
yeah,
That sounds about right.
yeah, and our freshman year, we did the Battle of the Bands, and we played Adam's Song and Ticket to Ride from the Beatles. It was, oh yeah, great choices. And yeah, it was fun. We were just playing talent shows and stuff.
Okay,
And
well, what
then
made you take? Yeah, what made you? I'm sorry, I know I keep interrupting as you're clearly going through it in chronological order, but I'm really curious now. What made you make the switch from just like being in a band and fucking around to making a serious band? And what point did that happen?
that kind of happened once I graduated high school because me and Pete, who was the drummer from town before, we had been friends for a while, and we just always kind of played the same music. And that was kind of when I started writing serious songs for whatever reason, and that just kind of, I don't know, we just kept playing, and I went to college up in Hofstra, but I kept coming down and playing shows every weekend, and that's about when Jay joined the band, and he went to he went to Drexel for music business, and he was just able to like kind of put that on his back, and then we just kept going and tried to make it serious.
I'm now really understanding because I've known you guys for years, so I'm understanding the dynamic of the band. Jay is basically your PR agent, and that makes perfect sense.
Job. Yeah,
Oh,
no, Jay, for the first couple of years, Jay booked our tour. He booked our first tour and stuff like that. And, yeah. And then
why
I
do you
was
think
just,
you started writing serious songs?
I don't know. I mean, it's just what I wanted to do at the time.
What were they
And
about? Like a specific
uh,
person or event?
no, well, okay, our first EP was pretty awesome.
It was. It
Um,
really is. You guys had the quality of the song, and I mean, whatever quality of the songwriting was so far head and shoulders above the quality of just the
yeah, let me
recording
be
that you got.
clear. Let me be clear. You've never heard our first.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Never mind. So it was
Um,
that awesome.
oh, it was awesome.
Okay, I see
I
what you're
think,
saying.
and mostly every song was like about a girl, which was not what I write about really, like at all. So, um, so that was weird. That was still like high school me, I
Yeah.
guess, kind of still hanging out. But some of the songs were pretty good. I don't know if you, I'm sure you know "Get to It." There's actually an original version of "Get to It."
Oh my god.
That's different, and yeah, the chorus is the same. That chorus we called it the banger, and I wanted to bring it back because we always liked that chorus. So,
Yeah.
um, who else was in there? There's a song on our next EP, or the one that you're talking about, called
Yeah.
No, It's a Pattern, and there was a song on the first EP called "Is Plaid a Color," so it was a sequence song.
Ooh.
I was getting ambitious.
Well, that's how every first record is. There's forget where I heard it from, but there's like a quote. It was except it's about writing a book, and it's what was your first book about? And then the other character says, like any first writer, it was about nothing and everything. Because
Yeah.
that's there's never like anytime you write that first thing on your own, it's you're trying to incorporate everything you've ever learned into it and every grand idea, but at the same time there's no through line. There's no like it's just a collection of whatever nonsense you spat out of your head.
That's pretty much kind of what happened in that first one. It was a fun time.
Okay, so then you put out your first quote unquote real EP, which as I mentioned before, the quality of it, it's like, okay, this sounds like quality of like the sound recording. I was like, this sounds like a local band. It doesn't sound like giant, especially at the time. I guess studios hadn't gotten as advanced that nowadays you can get like dirt cheap recordings that sound like they're on the radio, which is kind of unbelievable.
Yeah.
But the quality of the songwriting was head and shoulders above like so many other
Oh,
like bands of the same size.
Stop it.
So no, but seriously, oh, don't worry, I'll just trash your full length later. No, no, I'm just kidding.
Cool.
No, that EP is so good. Did you guys immediately get attention from it because of that, or at least some of
No,
them?
well, I mean, like all of our friends and stuff, like really liked it, and some of the kids that came to shows really liked it too. But the way that got so much attention, well, the attention that it did get was that we followed Warped Tour for 5 dates one year and literally handed out 10,000 samplers for free just to anybody who wanted them, and that actually worked really well. We got like a ton of likes
Yeah,
from
see,
it.
but see, that's a lot of bands. That's what kind of my point about the songwriting, because there's something different about that EP that other bands who have to pass out free shit, like my band at the time, including, is that all these other bands can pass out 10,000 CDs, whatever, like, but they don't. The return rates are so low, which is kind of why I'm stressing that your record, it was similar to other pop punk at the time in a good way, and it was also very different in a good way. And just the songwriting in general, each song is written very, very well, regardless of all the genre, all the thrills, all the all the trills, all the
Them
like,
trills.
yeah. Well, I always think of like every genre is just, if you write a good song, you can plug it into any genre. You just throw little tricks of the genre on there. You're just like, oh, a little beat drop there, little I don't know, a little jumpy part here, a little this here, a little that there, and you got yourself pop punk, huh?
That jumpy part.
Yeah, you know.
Favorite.
But yeah, so you get all that stuff, and if I don't know, I guess what a point I'm saying is most bands aren't going to have that same return rate. You guys put forth the effort and did the work and went to where your target audience was and passed out a lot of shit for free, and then it actually got a high return. And I think that though is thanks to the music.
I mean, I tried.
Just take the damn compliment.
No, I mean, I don't know. I never like went out to write pop punk songs. That's just kind of the songs that I wrote. So it was, I mean, to me, a good song is always something that is engaging from beginning to end. And if you're not a poet, that's fine. But if you can write something that that your listener can tell means a lot to you, then I think that's pretty much the key to writing a good song. And, you don't, like I said, you don't have to be Mozart or Bach or,
It's pronounced batch.
Batch.
Yeah.
The CH, it makes a ch sound.
It makes a ch.
No, I don't know. I
You
mean,
hear this? Sorry, go on. I was going to riff on that, but
yeah,
go for it. Go for
write a
it.
good song if they know what they want to write about, and it's not about like bad things like Nazis. It's a comedy.
I totally know what you mean.
Totally get it.
I totally get you,
I
man.
went through that phase. It was weird.
Jesus Christ! All right. So you're in Count to Four. You put out the EP. You're doing the normal local band thing, and I think that's cool that you pointed out how your friends liked it, but also very importantly, the kids who go to shows liked it, because that's a big difference between. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I believe that your target audience isn't just the group of people who like the music that you would make or who would potentially like the music you would make as a local band. I don't think that's your target audience. I think your target audience is, you first have to find the people who support local bands and go to local shows, because that's a different breed than anybody else, regardless what music they likes. And then within that group, your target audience are the people who like your genre or would potentially like your music inside that group. So like one person who, like, if you get a fan who it's like his or her hobby to go to shows once a week, twice a week, whatever it is, that fan means so much more to your band than like 10 people who go to a local show once a year or twice a year. And so it's like a high end versus a low end customer if we're looking at it in a business way. So it's really, I think it's really cool that you were able to not only hit your target demographic in your genre, but you hit your target demographic who goes to shows. Now, do you agree or disagree with the things that I'm saying as far as just the theory on it?
I agree, but we approached it differently. Especially once we started touring, we only played 1 or 2 local shows a year. And in doing that, we got both the people who went to 1 or 2 shows a week and the people that went to 1 or 2 shows a year, because it was now an event. So, I mean,
Yeah, I've read all the articles about turning your show into an event.
yeah,
It's a good
but
strategy, but you guys had the ability to tour. That's the thing that a lot of bands don't
yeah,
have.
yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
you earned it, but still.
yeah.
Sorry, go on, go on.
I mean, the point is, you want you want everybody to hear your music. You don't you like you're not going out there picking and choosing like I want this pop punk kid to hear the music and that pop punk kid to hear the music. The goal is that everybody hears the music regardless of if they go to shows at all
Or if they watch Sunday Night Football.
or if they watch Sunday Night Football.
A quick aside, I wanna mention that. I wanna ask you about that. So from my experience, I'm just sitting on a Sunday night watching Cowboys for fantasy purposes, fantasy football purposes, and Des Bryant scores a touchdown. I have him on my team. I won that week with that play. I'm really excited. I'm like, oh, I'm totally gonna win, get this money, and then they go to replay the catch. And I hear the song, and I'm like, "Oh, I know that song. Oh, that's really cool. They must have put like a pop punk or easycore band in there." And then it goes to commercial, and I'm like, where do I know that song from? I was like, holy fuck, that's Count to Four. So what was it like for you when that was happening?
I was in a hot tub when it happened. I was
Like
watching.
every fucking rock star.
No, okay, I was at my girlfriend's house and we were watching the game.
Your girlfriend?
And what?
Your
I was at,
girlfriend?
I was at my fiance's house.
There you go.
She was girlfriend at the time. Sorry, it's still getting used to that. I was at my fiance's house, and she, by the way, she's fiance, and I'm Daisy.
That's awesome. That's great.
Terrible.
No, it's very funny. Don't you
No,
dare. Oh,
the
Mike
worse
makes
the
it.
fun is, the better it is.
Mike makes a joke. I go, hey, Mike, good joke. And Mike goes, that's not a good joke. He
No,
set
no,
me
no.
up.
The worse a pun is, the better it is. I'm just so that one's terrible, which means it's awesome. I know it's crazy. But anyway, so we were
So
watching.
the cheese. So wait. The cheesier it is, the Gouda it is.
So anyway, we were watching the game, and it was really cold outside, and it's winter clearly, and I'm pretty sure there was snow on the ground, and we were just like, the Eagles are not going to win this game. Like it's sad. We didn't want
Oh,
to watch.
that's right. It was an Eagles game.
It wasn't. So we were like, this is sad. We're just not going to watch it. So we went outside of the hot tub because we were like, yay, hot tub in the cold. And then we got back inside, and I looked at my phone, and it was just like, yeah, what is going on? So we found the video, and we watched it, and I was like, what? And at this point, I had recently left, like decided I was leaving on the floor, so I was like, confusion. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, it was really cool to hear. Like, I mean, I think at that point, I didn't view it as this band I was in was on
Yeah.
the TV. It was a song that I wrote was on the TV.
And well, it just for fairness, and this just kind of goes to show any bands out there, any people who may not know this, just because something of yours got played on TV, it doesn't. You get a nice, like, decent chunk royalty check usually, depending on. I mean, I guess NFL games aren't syndicated. I'm sure you'll get like $20 in the mail from that, so it's kind of cool. But it's like, it doesn't make your band famous by any means. It's just a cool thing to throw on your resume. So it's not like since then. It's like, oh no, I shouldn't have left the band because now they're famous. It's like that doesn't exactly happen, but that's still so fucking cool to experience that in your life.
Yeah, it was like what just happened. So that was pretty awesome. If it was a baseball game, I think I might have shit myself because I actually like baseball. But
Like some Phillies walkout song.
yeah, but I mean, I guess it's cooler that it's football because more people watch football.
I had a song that I wrote as my brother-in-law plays Division I baseball, and he had one of our songs as a walkout song for a year. So I was very happy. Like I went to the game and saw that, and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, that's cool."
What song was it?
I'd Take State, the one about baseball player.
Oh,
Which is he didn't know this, but I was thinking of when I was thinking about like writing that song.
mm-hmm.
I wasn't writing it about him by any means, but he was in my head when I was writing it because he was like this like really successful like athlete,
Mm-hmm.
but he was like the nicest guy in the world. So he like defied the whole jock stereotype thing, and so I was just like, oh yeah, I'd love to write about like a lovesick jock.
For casting yesterday, I was in casting from 12:30 to 9, and I had a ton of people come in for my film, which was cool, but we were talking all day, and I was like, yeah, I always get typecast as the athletic jock type, and I just can't, it sucks for me, because for those of you who don't know me, I am not skinny, and I love sleep, so it was a joke, as translating very well in this podcast.
You're doing great, dude. You're doing great.
I just woke up, and I'm like, I tumbled out of bed to get to the computer, so forgive me.
All right, so you're casting. Your people are doing you favors to get small bit parts.
Right. Yeah, it's like the mafia over here.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, so you were saying you get typecast as an athlete?
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
That was a joke.
I thought you were telling me something completely different, and then I was gonna make a joke about you always being the catcher, but that's okay.
Let's continue. Let's move on. Let's move on from this joke that nobody got.
Yeah. As even including the host and then the guest when the host tried to riff along. All right. Okay. So you're playing in Count to Four. You started touring. You passed out a shit ton of stuff at Warped Tours. You're continuing to tour. I guess once you started to have that schedule of tour, local show, tour, local show, tour, local show, whatever it was. I say whatever it was, like I probably don't have your past 3 years of touring schedules memorized. So was that kind of a rinse and repeat type deal for those couple of years, or were there significant cycles?
You have to remember was for the first 3 years of that, I was a full-time student, and I was driving myself to the ground every weekend. I was driving home to play shows. And then we started touring my junior year, and that was just like I couldn't handle school and that at the same time. So I eventually left school and to do that full time. And I told everyone, I was like, I'm going back in 3 semesters. I will be returning, just so you know. And because if not, I would have lost my scholarship. And
okay.
Yeah, can't do that. So. That's when I started to write Between Two Cities, because that's kind of what it was about. It was me being stuck between Philadelphia and New York, and I would always tell people this. I would say Philadelphia to me was a place of who I always was, and like kind of what I've always wanted to do, and New York kind of symbolized who I was gonna be, and like the new things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always me going back to Philadelphia. But I guess what I never kind of realized was that the other side of that coin was that I was always going back to New York, too. So, clearly that was the future.
Yeah.
And I guess I just wasn't thinking about it that way at the time, that there were other things I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where
now, this I never really... I don't think I ever asked you about. Again, I just kind of got this in pieces. When I first met you, I guess whatever. July 6th, 2012. Yeah,
Whoa.
At the Sound of Time Running Out release show. Because our singer Dave was like, "You have to hear this band Count to Four. Like they're going on tour. You have to hear this band." The fact that we brought the other band who you were on tour with on that show was just a testament to how badly we wanted you guys on the show. Because it was like we actually kind of took a financial hit from that. But,
I'm sorry.
It was well worth it. All of it going forward was well worth it. And so I met you. The first thing you ever said to me was "I love you," and you hugged me, and you were very sweaty. And it was because you were leaving the stage and I was coming back on. It wasn't just because we saw each other and got hot and sweaty. But
that's exactly what happened.
Well, later, yeah. But we just met. Like, what kind of girl do you think I am? So I met you then, and I was talking to you guys were in a really bum mood, because I guess so far the tour had kind of had a handful of crappy shows.
And Pete was drunk, and he was super pissed at himself because he thought he messed up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Pete hates playing drunk, but he doesn't.
I was actually thinking about what Neil was talking to me about, because Neil was like, he was bummed because the label kept calling him. Or maybe it was Jay. It was the first time I met them, and I was drunk. So, it was one of them, and the label kept calling, but you guys didn't have your masters back yet. And
Oh
so,
yeah, oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
like it was like so far the tour, you guys were just exhausted and like the shows weren't going as well. I know it picked up at our show and afterwards, which was awesome, but like at the time, I'm just trying to set the scene of like a bunch of guys in a van just like, just fucking
Yeah,
done.
that was early in our touring
Yeah.
history.
Well, so I just remember he was saying like you guys had tracked your album and were just waiting for mixes or for masters, I mean, and or mixes maybe. And that was July 6, 2012. When did you release the album?
It was hold on, I got this. I think it was like May or March, like the end of May. Yeah, it was the end of May in 2013.
So almost a year later
Here's
was
the
when you were
kicker:
finally.
we recorded that album,
Mhm.
um, it's fall 2011, winter
Oh
2011.
my God, are you serious?
Yeah,
So even at that point, it had been almost a year since you recorded it.
yeah, it was. Well, I'm pretty sure that's right. Hold on, let me make
See,
sure that that makes sense. It was my junior year we recorded it, so that was yeah, it was no, yeah, because Maddie was born. So who was my niece?
that's so sweet that you were. Oh, that's nice that you were keeping the cycles of time with that
Well, because
associated with that birthday.
she's gonna be 4 this year. She's 3 right now. So
You love being an uncle. You
I
love
did.
it.
She came down here to visit with my sister and her husband's family, and oh my God, she was so excited to see me. It was so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. So yeah, that had to have been it. It was fall semester 2011. So it was like the winter 2011. We didn't release the album until 2013.
Yeah, so
After.
what was that? Because you didn't even play tracks on it until you released a single about a year and a half later, or even maybe even longer. What was it like playing the same like set? And
Oh,
you guys
it's
had a
yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say you guys. So you taught me this without actually teaching it to me. I just watched you. I learned from watching you is making a fucking tight 30-minute set, like maybe a couple minutes under 30, and just playing because we used to switch up our songs all the time.
Mhm.
And watching you guys, I was like, wait a minute, like they're absolutely destroying this set. Everything is so tight. They know exactly where they are and what they're doing, and yeah, and so it was very inspiring to be like, why not just perfect 30 minutes? It's not like anybody's clamoring to hear all our fucking deep cuts, especially when they don't know who we are. So that's really cool. But anyway, so what was it like? If, even longer than I had previously thought, playing that set list and having to hold back on those songs that I
Yeah,
mean, as a musician, I know how excited people get about new stuff. So how were you able to hold that in?
yeah, it sucked. We played I Hope Not for a while. Um,
Yeah,
just to be like, this is a song coming out off of our new album that might happen. So yeah, so we were playing that for a while, but and then we also were playing Tear It Apart for a little bit, and that's
that was
because
on the EP, right?
that was on the acoustic EP.
Acoustic, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, and that was an old song actually. I wrote that like right after our what you consider our first EP came out. I wrote that right after.
Be more elitist. What plebeians consider our first EP.
Yes, with the layman. Um, that's when I wrote that, and so we were playing that for a little bit, and I don't know, like it was kind of weird because by the time we started playing all the new stuff, we weren't excited about it anymore.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. That
Yeah.
blows my mind. Did you have just so did you write stuff in that like 3 year period from then and when you left the band? I know you had showed me like an early
Yeah.
demo cut or something. Did you
Yeah.
write a lot though, or were you just like tour, tour, tour?
It was tour, pretty much. I mean, I wrote a couple songs. There was nothing I was super happy with. The way that I kind of write is I write in bursts. So
Yep.
like I'll go a while without writing, and then like, oh, I have to write these songs like soon. Okay, and I feel like I work better that way. Like my thoughts kind of get more concentrated.
Yeah.
So, but I wrote a couple songs that I really liked. Like I said, I told you I got picked for that Hall of Fame thing
Yeah.
for Full Sail, and I gotta write all new stuff because I can't play Count to Four songs. So I'm kind of going through my mind and like, oh, I remember I wrote that song. I like that song. So I'm like kind of going back and
Do you ever, and that actually, that's really cool. Do you ever, this is something that I've only found recently, because I always write volume, volume, and volume up until like, I guess a year or two ago when I was like, I'm just going to write when something comes to me.
mm,
But like, whenever I'm like sitting around like, oh, I should maybe write something, it'll be fun, or I need to use it for something, I'll go back and dig up a song that I made like years prior
mm.
that eventually I realized sucked, and so I didn't make it into anything. But then I've learned so much stuff about music in the meantime that I can usually salvage an old song. Do you find yourself able to do that, or were your songs always just golden?
They were always, I always got gold. No, I think, I mean, I told you that we had an old version of Get To It, and that was like what I do this thing where I reference a lot of songs that I've already written, and that's kind of what, I mean, it's true. Like, if I write a good song and I can't, like, I don't like a certain part, but I like one part, then I'll be like, well, don't just scrap it because you don't like all of it. Use that part, and that's so. Like I said, Get To It or Get To It. We really like the chorus, so it was. And then I wrote.
That sounds like the new Nickelback song.
Yeah, I wrote another song called. What was that song called?
Hey
Growth.
Jude.
It was called Growth, and there was a part in it that I really really liked, but I hated everything else. And
Yeah.
there's actually a rough acoustic version of it that we recorded. But the part that I really liked was "Don't leave this town tonight." And then I was like, how can I use that? And it just kind of fit with Get To It thematically,
Yeah.
and it was in the same key, so I was like, cool,
Nice.
and so that worked.
So now that you're explaining all of these old deep cuts and B-sides and acoustic versions you have, I'm totally picturing Count to Four in the studio now, and they're using that Kickstarter money to extract your vocals, repaste the syllables to make all new songs. And it's just
Apparently, they have a new singer. I haven't heard him, but I mean,
is his name Neil? Because it should be. I like
yeah.
Neil. I liked his backing vocals. I thought he was fantastic.
Did you ever hear the Taking Back Sunday cover we did?
Which one?
Did we do more than one?
I don't know. Here's the problem. My recognition memory is way better than my recall memory, which means if you say that, what happens is now in my head there's 800,000 Taking Back Sunday covers from bands I know, including another one that just came out yesterday from another band I know. And so if I say no, then it's like, well, it's me saying I don't know. If I say yes, it's me saying I know. I don't know if I know. Possibly.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick.
Do you know what song it was?
Yeah, it was. This photograph is proof.
That's a pun.
So, but yeah,
You can't do two things at once. All right. Well, let me ask you this. Okay. So towards the end of really coming together for me now. So you got together. It was kind of your first serious band. You started. You put out an EP that apparently I don't know about, and then you put out another EP, and you hustled it hard, giving out free stuff, and then you started touring. You started picking up a lot of steam, a lot of momentum, nonstop touring. You recorded this album, presumably, obviously before you started touring heavily, and then you finally got to release it. What was it like when you finally released it? Was it a big payoff? Did you actually, or did it seem like it was still just slow, steady growth?
It felt pretty slow and steady. I mean, I guess in retrospect, we knew we were doing the grind and like doing it wasn't easy and everything, but I guess we kind of wanted it to go farther than we did. Like we saw these other. Sorry, go ahead.
You also got was it the freshman MTV award thing?
Yeah, we did that too. But it was just kind of like.
No, sorry, I interrupted you. Tell me you said you saw a lot of other bands, potentially your contemporaries, who started blowing
Yeah,
up?
yeah. I was there were other bands that were doing stuff that like we felt were.
So you're freezing up on me. I can see your pretty face right there, but I can't hear any words. I can't tell if you're going to drop, but I do know you were about to say something really interesting. So, just so if you can hear me, Mike, what I'm going to do is when we go in to extract the audio, once we fix this, I'm going to just cut it out before I post it up. So I'll just sit here and wait. Oh,
I was
hello.
just talking to no one.
Yeah. Anyway, so you were saying, okay, so I'm gonna cut out the silence when I go to post this.
Yeah.
So just looping back around, so you saw your contemporaries were kind of blowing up around you.
Yeah, we saw bands that hadn't been around for as long as we were that were like I mean, I'm sure they put the effort in, but they kind of like fit an image or a sound that, people wanted, and they were getting signed, and they were kind of, doing better than we were. And, we were doing the damn thing, and we put the effort in, and
Hmm.
that was all great. But, we all wanted that extra step up.
Yeah.
And, after 3 years of touring full time, it's just, I mean, for me, it kind of got tough. Not to say that I like gave up, but there's other things I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah, you've got that's the other thing. You had something to move on to, and it's almost like, well, this is you can continue on with the grind and hope for the best, but if there's something else you love as much, then do. And this is the exact conversation we had when you were thinking about that,
Yeah,
because you kept telling me it was so funny because like I'd like to say we had the conversation, but it was really you, and I just kept being like, oh okay, because you just came to it. You were like, yeah, I really want to do film. I was like, oh okay. Yeah, I don't know if I this band stuff. I was like, oh okay. Yeah, and I really want to do film. I was like, okay. And you're like, so I don't know what to do. I was like, well, it sounds like you know exactly what
don't
you want
don't
to
talk, don't talk to me anymore. Just don't talk to me. Yeah, okay, all the time, and I'll take care of the rest.
do. No, but that's really awesome though, because it's like you have another passion and you're able to. A lot of people don't have that. The story that you just told me is not only something that I've experienced when it comes to like you hustle in music, whatever scene you're in. Eventually, if you get big enough, you're going to start seeing your contemporaries get a lot bigger than you. And I've heard that from musicians and comedians far more famous than you or I countless times. That's just how it goes. And it sucks and it's frustrating. But a lot of other people don't necessarily have an out. It's like, oh, well, I guess I just got to keep doing this because this is all I got. And it's nice that you have another skill that you're able to, especially an artistic skill that you're able to pursue. All right, so you so you left the band and you moved down to the big Florida for screenwriting school. Is that what I would call it, or what would you call it?
It's film school. Yeah,
Film school.
it's film
Okay.
school. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm at full cell right now. It's an accelerated program. It's only 12 months. If I went to grad school anywhere else, it would have taken me 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
So I did not want to do that. And
Yeah.
that's why they're cool. They're all about, you're going to get in here, you're going to get out, you're going to get a job. Because if you don't, we don't have a reputation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty
They're
cool.
probably pretty well connected too.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But this semester I'm making a film called Serial, and it's about a serial killer who can only kill women when he watches them buy cereal. So there's this woman in the grocery store, and she's like, "What do I want for breakfast?" And the guy's like, "You want cereal?" And she's like, "I don't know." He's like, "No, you do. Trust me."
You're playing this off like it's a comedy, but I read the script. It's very serious.
Oh, it's a dark comedy. But well, I mean, it started out that way, like the
Yeah.
idea that like he's got to convince her to eat cereal, which is there
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But it kind of turned into a relationship between him and his dad. And
And I like that. I like that aspect because, like I mean, you know me. I prefer comedy to fucking anything else in the world. But I think that like when I read that last, I guess that last little section, I guess the last page or whatever, you
Yeah.
definitely no go answer that. You got better things to do. I'm sorry, it's casting.
Casting. Yeah.
Leo wants to talk.
Leo,
That's
Leo wants to
Leonardo DiFraprio. He makes my coffee.
DiFaprio.
DiFraprio. It was a coffee joke, coffee pun.
Okay. Okay. I get
Sorry,
it.
sorry, it wasn't a masturbation pun. I'm so sorry.
It would have been funnier. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, because it's a worse pun. Got it.
Yes,
Got
because
it.
it's
I'm learning. Oh, and earlier I should have said if it's cheesy, it makes it Gouda. That was the joke that I was supposed to say earlier, but my English is no good. So okay, so you're making how you doing?
Sorry.
Beating your head against the wall?
Yeah.
So okay, so you're making that film. Is that's your full semester project?
Yeah,
Or,
it's a short
yeah.
film. You do a thesis film here, so later on in my program, I'll be spending a lot of time on that. So
Yeah.
figure
Dude,
that
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. All right, cool. So what do you, obviously it's too soon to really tell, and I'm sure that opportunity will trump desire at first, but what are some of your goals for screenwriting and for filmmaking? Like, what do you, if you could just make any project right now, what would you make? And get paid to do it.
Two things actually. I would love to make an adaptation of my favorite book, which
Good
is
Night Moon.
Stephen King's It. Yeah. They're actually making a two-part adaptation of it, and I'm super stoked on it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I wanted to make it.
I might have talked right over you. What was the book again?
Stephen King's It.
Oh, yeah. I heard Stephen King, and I didn't hear, and I thought you were going to say The Stand, and I was going to, like, just explode out of my pants.
No. They are making The Stand, though.
Are they, like they did the last time?
No, it's going to be a movie. And there was a rumor that Matthew McConaughey was going to play Randall Flagg, and I kind of lost.
Interesting.
Yeah. That would have been
Interesting.
cool. Yeah.
That's really cool. That guy's come a long way. And what's the other thing you want to make?
A live-action Pokemon movie, of course.
You already have live action. What are you gonna do? Get a bunch of cats? I guess you'd CGI, obviously, but I'm just picturing cats with like Pikachu masks on running around.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I that would be cool if I could, make movies for a living, but I have a more realistic approach, and that if that happens, that's great. But if not,
You'll settle for TV.
No. I want to teach, actually. I'd love to be a professor of film studies, because to me,
awesome.
there's nothing more fun than sitting in a room and talking about movies.
Yeah, that's what's so cool is like whenever I think about what I want to do, like, because I do psychology stuff for my real job, and I do some therapy, but I do a lot of other stuff too, and I'm trying to push my way into only doing therapy. And then at some point, I'm going to eventually want to teach, because I do want to I love talking about that kind of stuff. Like, I love theorizing, and I love working with people, and I love just open discussion.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I like about, because I guess like a year ago or so, I guess a year and a half ago, I was like, oh, I want to do something in comedy. So I as you know, I've sent you a script before, like I want to write stuff. But like, I don't know. So I was thinking maybe should I try doing stand up? Should I stop doing music and do stand up? Should I do, I don't know, something in it? And it turns out what I really just wanted to do was talk to artists all day. So I was like, why don't you just do a podcast? Like, it makes a lot more sense. Yeah. But that's awesome that you have practical goals and dreamy goals. Yeah. And even if you have to spend like your 20s, how old are you now? 25? 23? You're only 23? God damn it. I feel like everybody's 23 for like 6 years.
I'm going to be 24 in August. Calm down.
Oh, okay. But no, yeah, like, you could very well spend up until your early to mid 30s making a modest living, either working in some capacity in film, and then also on the side doing more creative things, if you're not fulfilled by the creative things you're doing that make money. Just being completely, realistic, no dreaming.
Yeah.
But obviously you could do something that pays well and is very creative, that's fulfilling for you. But since there's no guarantee, you feasibly could do that and make passion projects and hope one of those hits up until your, early to mid 30s, before you ever would even, and at that point, even if you're making like a short film after short film, writing script after script, and things aren't necessarily happening, that's still a huge resume builder for when you're teaching. You have a lot of experience and you have a portfolio to show. And so that's really awesome that you have that end goal of like, hey, there's still something really awesome in that field that I would do, to get paid,
Yeah.
even if my dreams don't work out. Whereas with music, I don't think that happens because it's like, well, what are you gonna do? Play guitar in a cover band in a fucking wedding band to make money? Like that's where your end goal would be if you can't,
Yeah.
you know. Do you feel like film is a more stable art form than music?
No, but
Really? That's
well,
interesting.
I guess technically, just because like, what's your job? I'm a musician. Whereas if you're a film, what's your job? I'm a cinematographer. I'm a sound designer.
Yes,
So I guess
there are
technically,
many more roots. Yeah, yeah,
it's not like that's an office job. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's not. I want
There are no
to.
music office jobs unless you're like a sound engineer or
Yeah.
like a master studio
Well,
guy.
that's actually kind of what I want to do. If when I don't teach, I kind of want to get into sound design because
Yeah.
I like music.
Would you do it for film as opposed
Yeah,
to like bands? Yeah.
yeah. That's what I don't want. I don't want to record bands. I want to be a sound designer and make the soundtracks for
I'm
film.
not a producer. I'm a sound designer. I
That's what
design
that's what it's
sound.
called for film. That's what you are. You're a sound designer. You decide what you hear and what you don't.
I make fun of you, but then it's like later today, I'm like sending out resumes. I'm like sound designer. I'm a sound design. I design sound.
I sure they gave me a sweet Zoom recorder for here. I love
Yeah.
Zoom recorders, and they
A
just
lot of
gave.
fisheye lenses.
There's no fisheye lenses.
Not in film school.
Not on
Not at this level.
not on my Zoom, my audio recorder. There's no.
I know that. So when you said Zoom recorder, I assumed that you were just like taking a huge right turn in the conversation because when you said Zoom, I was like, oh, that zooms in, it zooms out.
It's called Zoom
Not
recorder.
the. I know. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
I'll send you a link. Dude.
Say that again. It'll cut out. Hold on.
But they're awesome.
Yeah.
And they gave me one. I like working with Pro Tools and stuff and like doing ADR work. It's really fun. So.
Yeah. What is ADR? Is it audio digital
Audio
replacement?
dialogue replacement.
Dialogue replacement, not digital. God damn it! I always forget what ADR stands for. All right. Well, thank you for my first lesson in film school. You're a
Yeah.
great teacher,
Okay.
and I only felt bad about myself twice. So before we depart, I want to say thank you very much for doing this. I'm glad I finally got you on the podcast after, like, you helped me out with this like a year ago, and I never put it up because it just didn't. The quality of the audio and my interviewing skills were not great. But also, yeah, like you're one of maybe a handful of people, like very few, maybe not counting my wife or like family members. You're one of maybe like 5 people I talk to on an almost daily basis. So it's like, so part of this podcast, and I do this with even my non-artist friends, where it's like, well, I just want to keep in touch, and I want to like, I don't know. And this is it means a lot to me that you come on and do that.
Dude, you're my boo.
You're my boo. I'm not your bae though. You already got your fiance.
It's fiance.
I know.
Fiance and Daisy.
Oh, phase. Jesus Christ. Also, you post a lot of pictures that make me go, ugh.
I know, it's terrible.
Except I only go because the first 100 I was like, aw, and now I'm like, okay, stop being so happy, you son of a bitch.
We're that happy.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I'm very glad you're happy. I'm glad that you are doing something artistic that you're really passionate about, and that hopefully is going to be a much more smooth road than any of the music stuff. And congratulations on your engagement. And congratulations on coming on this podcast. This is gonna do wonders for your career.
Congrats for this podcast.
Yeah, I think you did an okay job.
I tried.
All right, man. I will catch you later on probably Facebook chat in like 4 hours when I come up with
I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Then I'll make it 8. All right, I will catch you later, dude.
Hey, man.
All right, see ya.